I've run through your videos also on YouTube, and I see this how to get the prospects to open up. But is it safe to assume that you can call out their BS? You can do that because you've built rapport, and they know you just like you know them. But if you call someone that is they don't even know you, like cold call, I guess you cannot call out their BS because they don't know you yet. They might hang up. So how can we open up this kind of disputes?
It's a good question, and you're on the right lines. I think you've kind of made it a bit black and white, though. It just depends. Sometimes you'll have a cold call with someone who's like more open, and you can connect with them better. So you can be a bit more direct with people, and in fact, often you'll get more people's respect if you are direct, right? So like I would also challenge that a little bit. Obviously, it depends on the person, but sometimes when we're not direct when we need to, we have less chances of getting respect from the prospect. Yeah, no worries, Demetrius. Take care, mate. And yeah, I think the main thing is when we're having conversations, we need to focus on being situational. It's never really a like, oh, I should do this or I shouldn't do that, right? We have to get out of that mindset and just focus on being more like chameleons on the call. That probably sounded like comedians, but chameleons, right? Like the lizards, because at the end of the day, we need to adapt to our prospect. That is super, super important. For example, if I play a prospect that's like a bit shut off, they're not really showing much, then sometimes I want to address that. Like, hey, am I like totally boring you to death here, Kendrick? Like, I know I've got a strange British accent, but let me know if this is totally boring you here. I want this to be productive for you, right? You can call things out like that. Sometimes when people are being a little bit like dismissive, like, oh, like not interested or something like that, it's like, okay, I apologize. I don't mean to offend in any way, shape, or form. I'm guessing you get a lot of calls like myself, right? Cool. I'm not here to, sell you anything at this stage. I'm just here to see if this is actually going to be productive for you. So help me understand and then dive into the next part of your question. So, sometimes it's just about being really playful, but when you get into the depths of a conversation and somebody brings up a limited mindset, it's important that we do challenge it, right? Because if we don't, then we leave an elephant in the room that gets bigger and bigger throughout the conversation, and it's likely to be an objection that they'll bring up on the closing call anyway. And at that point, it may be way too difficult for the closer to close it because we haven't addressed that elephant there and then. We just want to make it easier for them to do it. And as setters as well, we don't want to, like reframe perspectives necessarily, but we want to understand if they're open to a different way of actually thinking about something. Right? That's what's really important. Like, don't put it upon yourself to reframe the prospect entirely, right? Like that's really important. But we want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to at least have them be open to something different. And if they are open to it, they are a settable person. If they're fixed in their mindset, fixed in their ways, I don't want to spend too much time with them. I'd rather just move on to somebody else because that's a waste of my time. Right. So, yeah.